Hi, it's Kevin. Welcome to today's episode of the Claremont Classic Garage. We're back in the Holiday Rambler. What we're going to do today is bring it to life for the summer season. So we're going to get the water system back up alive. We're going to get the generator running, and that should be it. We'll go around and do a few little maintenance things on the outside, check things over, and we'll have this thing ready to go camping. If anything ever opens so we can go camping at. So, come along with me and let's get to work. I'm not really sure if there's a proper way to do this, but I'm going to show you how I do it. The procedure is basically the same for any RV. So what I do is I go around and I make sure all the taps are closed. So on your RV, you'll want to check the kitchen tap, the vanity tap, the shower, they're closed. Your toilet, there's not really anything. These are all spring release, so that should be good. And outside, if you've got an outdoor shower, make sure that's closed. Just to prevent, so when you first turn the water on, you haven't got water going everywhere out of everything. The only thing I do leave open is the floor drains. That way, if something did go wrong in the winter, when you first hit the pump, if there is a leak somewhere, it's not going to spray water all over the place. It just won't be able to build up pressure. So I'm going to go out now. The first thing I do after that is we'll put some water in the fresh water tank. So that way I run the pump a little bit and get this part, the inlet of the pump and the pump cleaned out of pink stuff. Because if you go and pressurize it with domestic supply, first you've still got pink stuff in here. See, here's the domestic supply coming in here, and there's a one-way check valve there. So it won't get this pink stuff out of here, and you'll get it all purged out, turn the pump on, and contaminate it all again. So first thing we're going to do is put some water in the fresh tank and run the pump a bit. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that we'll need. This is a right angle adapter and a little flex joint for the actual connection of the city water to the RV. Here's our inlet filter. Here is the filler valve for the gravity tank, the freshwater tank. And here's a pressure regulator for when we hook it up to domestic water. So we also have over here our two RV rated freshwater hoses. That's what we need to reach from the house to the camper. So what we're going to do first is just open this up and let it run for a sec to get the hose flushed out. Everything around here leaks. There we go. All right, that should do. I'll put this thing on. This thing has a pretty generous water tank. Unfortunately, it's about 8 feet behind the back wheels. So any water that you put in here, the weight of it is mechanically amplified due to the distance it is behind the back wheels. So it's a bunch of weight you don't need sloshing around back here. So if you're not planning on really going anywhere where you're going to need fresh water in the tank, don't fill it right up. Keep enough in there to go to the bathroom and wash your hands while you're en route. And then you use the hookup water when you get where you're going. If you're boondocking, that's a whole different story. You need this puppy full. This thing is going to just mostly sit in the driveway for driveway camping over the summer, so I will likely fill the tank up pretty much all the way. And then anytime we want to come up for the night or something, we can use the washroom without having to have it hooked up to the city water or the house water. And then if we go somewhere, it's as easy as draining it back out. In the meantime, we can do some of the other stuff that's required to bring this thing to life. We'll start with treating the septic. So here's the stuff we use in the holding tank. There's a million different products on the market. I use this stuff mostly because this was in here when we bought the camper. So we're going to at least use this up before we explore our options. So we've got a 40-gallon holding tank. So you just you get enough in there for that size of tank. I never remember how to work this damn thing. We'll figure it out. Give me a sec. There we go. Now you only need this in your black tank. Your gray tank doesn't need it. There. And then send that down. And that'll look after your septic. You have to do this every time. If I filled this tank up and then went and dumped it, I'd have to retreat it for the next load. So I'll just let that go down. All right, now next step. There's plenty of water in that tank now, so we can open this faucet and run the pump a little bit. Theoretically, everything that comes out of the pump should go out the floor drains, but we'll have that open just in case. All right. So while the pump's running, we'll close the floor drains here. Okay. Oh, and I gotta change this to, it's in the position to suck from this valve now, not from the water tank. So we'll go like that. There we go. And get some water. There. All right, that's the pump decontaminated. Now we can shut it off. It turned off. That means it built up a head. There. How's our tank doing? Yeah, it's about half full now. Let's see if our Holiday Rambler tank gauge is accurate. Fresh water. Yeah, it shows it half full. Look at that. And then the gray and black should show empty. 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 How much propane do we have? Half. Battery. Full. Good. Perfect. Okay, I'll be back when the tank is full, and then we're going to switch over and hook it up to city water. Okay, the tank's about 3/4 full now, so I'm going to shut it down, and we're going to go out and switch the water over to pressure supply. So we'll button up the freshwater supply, and we'll hook it up to city water. Alright, so we've got that switched over. I've got the water filter and the regulator put on. Now we're just going to go open the hose for a minute and flush the filter out, and then we'll hook it up, and we should be good to start bleeding everything inside. That's all I got to do just for a sec. So here we are, hooked up and ready to go. One little problem I see is my water gauge there is stuck on 30 psi. Piece of junk. I'll have to replace that if I have one. I may have one around, I may not. Now we're going to go open the valve again, and then we'll hop inside and start getting everything bled up. So hopefully after you open the valve on the outside, you shouldn't come in and find water going all over the place or hear any funny sounds or anything like that. Looks like everything is good here. So what we're going to do first is the water heater is bypassed for the winter. You just empty it out and bypass it. So we're going to open the path to the water heater again. You hear the water rushing through now. It's compressing the air that's inside there. Now we're going to let it go through. There. So that was actually the outlet at the bottom. The inlet is the top. No, I'm wrong. Inlet bottom, outlet top. There's the line going to the outdoor shower. You can see here is where the city water comes in. It goes down there and it's teed into the output of the pump. There's a one-way check valve in the pump that prevents it from flowing back into the tank. So, that all sounds good? Now, what I usually do is I go to the furthest thing away from there and open that first. So we're going to start here with the shower. I wonder what the dog's mad at now. That's weird. Not a lot of pressure. Let me try this one. Alright, let's see what we get out of the shower. There you go. That's the hot side. So that means now we've gotten all the air out of the hot water heater. It's primed and ready to go. Cold side. Not much there, eh? Okay, so that can go back up there. Let's see what comes out of this here tap. Hot side. That's good. Toilet. And this, the sprayer, get clear water out of everything. Okay, now let her go. Okay. So that is alive. On to the kitchen. A lot of air in there. There, it's running free now. The hot side. Okay. So now we're going to go get the outdoor shower purged. On the way past, we're going to fire up the hot water heater. Okay, let's get this going. This we added in. It didn't have this when we got it, but the dirty mechanic in me needs somewhere to wash his hands when we're at the racetrack, and I'm forbidden from going inside the camper with greasy hands. So we installed this guy in here. This is actually the original shower faucet. We just mounted it here in the generator compartment. It's pretty handy. Okay, so that's that. So the water system is up to speed. There we go. You can hear that running. Ouch, that's hot. Yeah, nice hot exhaust coming out of it. That's good. Water heater's alive. Now we're going to get the generator going. This is not your average RV generator. It's a portable generator that was converted to be installed in an RV. So it's bolted in, it doesn't come out. The exhaust system, I took the original muffler off of it, and it's got a proper exhaust system on it now, which is attached. The fuel tank is gone from this. It runs off the fuel supply from the camper. I've got a valve down here, so we're going to pick which tank we want to pull fuel from. We're going to pull it from the front tank. I can put it there to pull fuel from the rear tank. Now, we're going to put engine switch on. Fan, automatic. That's the cooling fan under here. It's just from a car. So it encourages airflow. It pulls it through the grate here and pulls it down through the bottom. Now we're going to prime the fuel system. There's our little electric pump. You can hear it running. Once we got it primed up, oh, I can smell gas. It's working. Good. Then we'll switch that to automatic. And set the choke. And give her a few pulls and see if we can get her going. See, that's not so bad, eh? Cost a lot less than an Onan, I'll tell you that. So I'll let that run for a minute, and then I'll shut it off. Maybe we'll go inside and turn on the other compressor. Let it run. Oh, it's going all by itself. Perfect. You should see the gauges here going up. There you go. It shut off. It's happy. Okay. So usually what I do when I'm done running this thing, I turn the fuel supply off, I turn off the fuel pump, there's the fan, you can see it running, and we just let it run itself out of fuel. Starts to struggle like this, that's a sign that it's running out of fuel, and rather than risk hurting it, who knows, it could burn a valve or something. Once it gets to that stage, just shut it off, and what little gas is left in the carburetor and the line will just evaporate, and you're good to go. One thing I neglected to do was check the oil before I started up, but oh well, I'll do it next time. I mean, this, look at, the generator's got 5.5 hours on it since I installed it. But it works great. If you need it, you need it. Especially with this, with the dash air not working on it. If you're out driving on a hot day, you just turn this thing on and run the roof air. It's fine. I mean, you're using fuel from the engine to turn the engine mounted compressor, or you're using fuel from the tank to run this, to run the thing on the roof. Either way, I don't think it's probably a wash fuel-wise. So that's an option that we have. We can also check out the fridge. So this is a two-way fridge, meaning it works on propane or shore power, AC. What we do have for this fridge that I tried, I installed a little inverter. So if I do want to run it on DC while we're driving down the road, I can unplug it from here and plug it into this inverter, and it kind of sort of makes it into a cheesy three-way fridge. I put a little light in the compartment here. Look at that. So if I'm mucking around here in the dark, why not? These lights are cheap. So the fridge, I know it's running on AC right now and it's nice and cold, so we're not going to mess with it too much. This here is something I installed. It's a booster fan in the chimney, so on a really hot, stale day when there's no wind, you can turn this on and it just promotes airflow up the chimney across the coil and helps with your fridge performance. This time of year we probably don't need it. It's got a temperature switch, so you can just leave it turned on all the time, and when it decides the conditions warrant it, it'll turn on and off by itself. The only other preparation I will do is before it actually goes on the road, I'll just kind of go around and grab everything. It's like a circle check you do on a truck. Make sure nothing's hanging off, make sure the mirrors are tight. I'll check all the tire pressures, give the hubcaps a bang, make sure they're on tight. I'll crawl underneath it on my creeper. There's lots of room under this. I can roll around on it, on the creeper, make sure everything looks good under there. I will also go under the hood. And just have a fast look. Check all my fluids, check the belts. There's my spare belts. Don't leave home without them. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the thing has low miles on it, so it is relatively trustworthy, but at the same time, it's old. It's 1986, so you do need to check it over good before you go. And then we'll get it running and check all the lights, make sure the lights are all working. One time, we were going out on a Thursday afternoon, well, on a Thursday morning to a big race at Jukasa Speedway, and I checked it all over. I checked all the lights on the Monday or the Tuesday, and Thursday we plugged the trailer into it, no trailer lights. A mouse had somehow gotten in there and ate all the trailer wiring in between Monday when I checked it and Thursday when we went to go. Unbelievable. Dog is eating rocks. Hang on. Alright, so the last thing we'll do before we close everything up is just go around and check really carefully for leaks. This thing has got all shag carpet in it, so your hand helps you. Sometimes it'll be just a little drip, but it'll make the carpet wet, and you can feel that with your hand. But we can have a look in here. Make sure everything all looks good and dry. You don't hear, sometimes if there's a leak, you might hear it, you know, hissing. Look here under the sink. It all looks good. Everything nice and dry. See, carpet's nice and dry in there. Perfect. So we can close that up. Check in the bathroom. If the toilet or anything leaks, you'll see it running on the linoleum. There's nothing there. I did have a small leak here at the connection for the bathroom faucet, so I'm gonna have a real close look at that. It all looks good. I'm gonna run my hand up in there. Run my hand up there and see if I feel anything wet. No. All feels dry. That's great. Okay, so the last thing I gotta do is clean up that little bit of plumbing antifreeze on the shower floor because it will stain it. And I would say I can officially put the Holiday Rambler in service for the 2020, at least driveway camping season. What a crazy year, eh? Found another job I'm gonna have to add to my list. These are the panels that go under the cushions back here. You can see this one's got a big crack right down it. This one here is busted in the middle. So I think we're gonna get rid of this sawdust board, and I'll buy some 1/4-inch plywood, and we'll make new ones out of 1/4-inch plywood. That'll be a lot stronger. That's not a bad job to do. So, all in all, I hope you good people have learned a thing or two about getting an older RV back to life in the springtime so you can enjoy it without too much trouble through the summer. And as usual, if you like what you saw, hit the like button down there. You can subscribe to my channel. You can share. You can leave comments. There's all kinds of things. I love doing this for you guys. Hopefully you learn a little something from it. And a lot of times I learn something from it. So it's a two-way gift. Anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time on the Claremont Classic Garage.